Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of August 2025. I hope you are well. I'm using the Tower of the Abyss for you today. Before we begin, if the reading resonates with you and you would like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That's via one of the links in the description box below. You're looking for the link that takes you to Selfie. Alternatively, you could come join us over on Circle. There you can get access to all of the extended content for no extra cost, beyond the membership fee, of course. Hang out with an extraordinary group of people and have the opportunity to participate in the live classes that we run over there. So, and we record them all. So if you can't make it live, you can go back and study at your own pace. So if that sounds like it might be of interest to you, you know what to do with those links. Right, Taurus, let's see what's going on with you. Could I have 3 cards for Taurus, please? Cards for Taurus. Oh. We have the Emperor on his side. That's Aries energy. What about current energy for Taurus? Okay, we've got 3. All right. No, I'm not taking 3 because I don't want to be sat here for an hour and a half, and we could be if that's the case. I'm going to shuffle these all back in. And then if one of them wants to come back out again, they can. Current energy, please, for Taurus. There we go. That's better. Right, we have the 9 of Cups. How delightful. And what's coming towards Taurus, please, for August? What does Taurus need to know? Oh, we have the Empress. Well, how delightful that is. We do have at the bottom of the deck the 5 of Wands. And so I do wonder, because I've done a few of these August readings now, I'm like quarter of the way in, and I do feel like the environmental energies are not gentle. Shall we put it like that? I think we should put it like that. And so I do wonder if part of this, what this 5 of Wands here is actually kind of like the backdrop that you are operating within. Let's have a look. We've got the Ace of Pentacles behind it and the Ace of Cups. That's rather lovely. So we could be talking about internal conflicts, but until I get some more cards on the table, I can't really say either way. So let's give these a big shuffle. Let's do that. And let's see where the Emperor's here, please. Oh, 5 of Swords. There it is. And another one for the Emperor. That's 2. Right, we have the Death card and we have the 2 of Wands. All right then, tell me about the 9 of Cups. We've got the 2 of Cups and the Strength card together. There's a lot of fixed sign energy here, Leo. What about the Empress? Why is the Empress here? We'll take that one. We've got the 9 of Cups again. And we've got the Justice card now showing up here. We've got the 7 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So I stand by what I said about the external energies of August not being entirely friendly, so we put it that way. I've done enough, like I said, I've done enough of the readings for August to see that there's a bit of a theme in the background. But I think one of the things that we've been doing quite a lot of this year is that practicing that separation away from the backdrop, right, so that we can focus more so on what is ours to do. So I feel like that's probably less of it's having less of an effect on you than it might do otherwise. The presence of the 5 of Swords over here and this repeated motif of the 9 of Cups is making me think that there's something here that you have been kind of wrestling there's something here that hasn't felt like it's quite right, but we've got a process here by way of which or through which presumably we are able to change things in a way that feels very positive. So let me get my little stick of selenite over here. We start with the Empress on his side and the Emperor on his side, beg your pardon. And this is quite interesting because wherever we have the Emperor and the Empress together, what we have sort of suggested but not present is the energy of the Fool. Now he's not here yet, he's not birthing yet. And I suspect it's because the Emperor is on his side, right? He's not playing the active masculine role that is necessary for the creation and bringing into the world of fool-like energy. He feels a little bit compromised. And I do think that this is the Five of Wands, the Five of Swords, this is where the issue is being caused here for you, because there's one way of looking at this to say that, rather than an overt emperor, the energy that you've been in is one of more of sort of acceptance. But I'm not really getting that. It feels more like doubt. It feels like second guessing oneself. And it does feel like there's something kind of abrasive in the immediate environment to you. It might be people, but I think it's more likely to be circumstance than anything else. And the indecision seems to be around what to do about it. Now, one of the beautiful things about the Emperor is that he isn't just a figurehead, right? He makes all of the big decisions when it comes down to strategy and whatnot for everybody else that is following his leadership. Now, the Emperor is also the King of Kings, so every king is a facet, is an aspect of the Emperor. And your king is the King of Pentacles, right? So we have that energy down. That's pretty good. We know what we're working with. It suggests that the indecision is somewhere the preserve of one of the other kings here for you. It could be the King of Swords. It could be the King of Wands. It could be the King of Cups. I see King of Swords and King of Cups, probably Cups more than anything else, right? But that aside, what the Emperor does is take control of a situation and works for the best possible outcome, utilising all of the wisdom and all of the experience that is accrued by the kings, right? He's not completely impotent. He's not completely cold, shut down, disinterested, irresponsible, all that kind of thing. He's in this neutral spot, which means he's kind of wobbling a little bit. And it's really interesting how many signs I've seen this wobble happening in the recent past bit of the August energies. It's almost like something around the end of July has got people like, or maybe, the beginning of August. It's difficult to say. It depends when you're watching this reading. But these two together speak to a need for change, right? The Five of Wands is a point of tension. It's a point of conflict. There needs to be some sort of resolution from this, right? So obviously something needs to change. In the case of the Seven of Pentacles, which is actually a card that I'm really coming to love. Like, I really appreciate the pause that the Seven of Pentacles brings, because it combines all in one card the energy of noticing that something isn't quite right and giving oneself permission to stop and ponder as to what that might be. The upshot being there is a decision that needs to be made, which is either that we carry on the way that we have been doing and continue to invest in this particular way, or we withdraw our pentacles, remove our investment into this. We divest, quite literally, divest from the situation, and we start going in a different direction. Both of them indicate change required some sort of way. But here, the Emperor's sort of sitting on the fence. Now, he could be sitting on the fence because you weren't quite sure whether it was right that something needed to change, or you could have been sitting on the fence because you were not quite sure which way things needed to change. I think, on balance, it's probably the latter because of this Two of Wands down here. The Two of Wands speaks to a crossroads moment, one where we must decide whether we're going this way or whether we're going that way. And we're not actually moving anywhere when that Two of Wands happens, other than in our own mind, when we're walking through the consequences of taking one path over another. And in fact, even if either of those paths are suitable for us. But the noise and the static of the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands over the top seems to be muddying the waters somewhat a little bit. I don't know if the wobble is around trusting your gut, trusting your instinct, or whether it is something else. The Five of Swords can speak to Pyrrhic victories. It can speak to self-sabotage. But I feel like these are more like echoes from a past cycle of yours, where it's like if you make the decision to turn away from something, you're not entirely sure that it's right. Like maybe there should be a little bit more waiting. Maybe you should be a little bit more patient with the situation and just let it play out a little bit more. Or maybe there's some recognition that in the situation that you find yourself, you would have made the decision very, very quickly in the past. It wasn't necessarily the right decision, but there was a feeling and you went with the feeling and, you know, it was what it was. And some aspect of your development and your growth and your transformation in these last couple of years is saying, hang on just a second, are we making the right decision? And are we making it for the right reasons? Is the evidence presented enough for us to make this kind of change? Are we actually at a crossroads? Or do we wish we were at a crossroads? Are we actually at a crossroads? Or are we seeing things that aren't there? It's very interesting, Taurus. I'm going to get out another deck here. Tell me about what's going on over here with these three cards, please. Four of Cups, right? Well, I think it's fair to say that whatever backwards and forwards you're having with yourself at this time, it's more to do with some kind of some shadowy relic from your past, you know, whether that's an actual person, an actual situation, or whether just some part of your, you know, subconscious kind of coming up to the top and going, we've kind of been here before and we're not quite sure if we've got enough evidence to make the kind of moves that you're thinking about right now. But we do notice that Seven of Pentacles there again, reiterating that there is something about this that is ripe for change. Four of Cups, I mean, it's just an unpleasant card no matter which way you look at it, really. It speaks about rejection and abandonment issues and all of these kinds of things. I mean, I wonder if there are consequences of taking a particular path, one that might take you in a particular direction that might make you feel like you are rejecting other people or you're abandoning other people. I'm not sure. But what is very clear is that the Emperor's been sitting on the fence and he hasn't really known what to do about the situation that he finds himself in. Now, when we get into your current energy, we've got the Nine of Cups right there. That's a Pisces card, and it's a beautiful card of healing, of compassion, of good emotional management, right? So it's recognizing that you're not all up a height about something for nothing. You know, it's the ability to be able to regulate your emotional body in a way that is, you know, vastly improved than what it's ever been before. But it also talks about your highest goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and it's similar to the Star because of that, but subtly different, in so much as the Star is a major arcana card and it represents something that's kind of twinkling in the sky at you and going, come this way, Taurus, come this way. The Nine of Cups puts it squarely within your capacity to control, your capacity to make happen or not. You know, you listen to some of these you know, this new generation of self-help chaps that are on the internet right now. It's like everything that you do in every single day is either taking you closer to your goal or further away from it. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess on some level, but there has to be room for something, a little bit of something extra. Like there's got to be a little bit of redundancy built in somewhere where, you know, if you wake up one morning and you're like, do you know what? I'm not getting up for my 5:30 workout. The world's not going to come tumbling down, you know. Now, like, I get it. I get where they're coming from and whatnot, but here's the thing. I think the crossroads that you perceive yourself as being at, or perhaps you've worried that you weren't at and maybe you were seeing things, is more to do with what feels like it could be the best thing in your life, right? So maybe you've been watching for signs and synchronicities, some sort of signal from the universe that it's okay for you to go pursue whatever this is now, right? You know, things are the way that you think they are. Here's the signal, go. But I feel like the messages that have been coming to you have been a little bit mixed. And I don't even know where that feeling is coming from, but it's there. It's kind of like, oh, was that a signal? Was that a sign? I'm not entirely sure. And I do wonder if part of you is feeling a little bit like what you want to pursue feels selfish, almost like, we've got this Two of Cups down here. It really highlights the idea of togetherness, right? I think it's Venus in Cancer, right? So it's Venus energy. You recognise that very well. It wants things to be comfortable, wants everybody to be nice. It wants everybody to come together and feel a part of something, right? Feel valued within something. And I'm not sure if some part of you is feeling like there is something here that would be compromised within a relationship sense, and it doesn't have to be a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something like that. We'd be talking about, friends, family, work colleagues, probably a little less, or more like business partners, right? Where I want to pull this card away. It feels like these two are connected, and this one's the sticking point. This one's the Five of Wands, this one's the Four of Cups, this one's the Seven of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. And something about you and someone else feels like it's kind of got you a little bit fucked up, and I don't know why. But like, to some extent, were you to pursue what you wanted for you, it would be an entirely selfish act. Now we've got the Seven of Wands there. That's Mars and Leo. Two of Cups. And we've got the Three of Wands. And there you are at the bottom of the deck. King of Pentacles there. That's Taurus energy. I'm feeling a separation. I don't feel like marriage is breaking down or something like that, but I feel like there's a turning point here. And I think to some extent, this is a turning point that you didn't really want to happen. You didn't really think would happen, or maybe you suspected it would happen, but, a lot further away than it is right now. Because the Three of Wands makes me feel like you want to take this person with you on your journey, on your voyage, wherever that is, metaphorically or literally. And that some aspect of that would assuage the uncomfortable feelings that you're feeling, that there is some sort of separation here. Or that you are putting your needs first in a way that feels inherently selfish to you. I'm looking at the way those 6 wands are parted, and there's that, the single one in the middle here in the Seven of Wands, right? They've been kind of pushed aside in favour of this one single Ace of Wands. And we've got the Three of Wands there. It's like, this is the one, the self, the I. This is the things that you want. It's not that this other person is in the way, but you're having some very, very strong feelings about the thought of leaving, of pursuing something that you want, because this other person's not going to go that way with you, right? So we're struggling with but do I go after what I want when maybe I should be working on what we want down here? Now, the Strength card, it's a very gentle card, so that's kind of the point, really. Talks to me about personal growth, personal development. It also talks about bravery and courage. And it's not that I think that you lack the courage of your convictions, Taurus. I think that there's just something here that's testing you a little bit more than you are comfortable with. And you feel a little bit like you're pulled in two different directions, or separated in two different directions here. There's what you really, really want in here. And then there's what you feel like you should be doing, or the people that you feel like you should be doing it with. Tell me about the Strength card, please. All right, Four of Swords, Knight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is now at the bottom of the deck, which is a card of movement, certainly emotional movement. And here's the thing, right? We recognise in the dynamic between the 8 and 9 of Cups is that, whatever the 8 of Cups represents, it does not contain what it used to contain for you. Notice how all the glasses are, broken, right? The emotional fulfillment that one seeks is not to be found in these glasses. It's not to be found in these cups. And usually they're shown in such a way as you can tell that there is a cup missing. Simultaneously, both the 9th cup and the Ace of Cups, right? So where we put what feels right to us when it comes to our relationship with ourselves in that space, and hey presto, we have achieved our 9 of Cups, or given ourselves permission to pursue our 9 of Cups. Now, inherent within that is the idea that something must be left behind in order to pursue something new, right? Then we also have this Pisces card of the Knight of Cups here, and also the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a meditative card for me. It's about mental peace. The Knight of Cups being a card of acceptance. I mean, often when we talk about the Knight of Cups, we're talking about giving our cup to someone, right? But that's of naught if we don't know the process, if we're not familiar with the process of giving the cup to ourselves first, right? Now, I feel like because there's a kind of acceptance and a flow in both of these two cards here, I feel like this is a turning point for you, but it feels like it's confrontational on a level that you didn't expect. Now, maybe for some of you, this is I don't know, maybe you've got older kids. And maybe they are, of an age now, right, like late teens, early 20s, where they don't need a parent to be there all the time doing things with them. And there's an opportunity here, there's a bit of space that's being created that says, okay, Taurus, now you're free to go do what you need to do, right? Go follow your heart, go look for your 9th cup. I could see how that would be an instance of this happening, but then there's something that's kicking in that's going, well, what if they need me? I need to be available. I can't just pack up my stuff, go travel around Cambodia or something. Well, I don't think now is a particularly good time to go travelling around anywhere, to be perfectly honest. But, you take my point, I'm sure. And I don't really feel like this is you falling too hard into default patterning. And so I don't want you to worry about that, Taurus. But I do feel like here's the first instance in quite a long time where a space is opening up in front of you and it's asking you to walk through it. And there's just a little bit of hesitation. There's a little bit of, is this the right thing? Am I seeing the signs correctly? Am I seeing the synchronicities correctly? Is what I'm looking at actually there? So the interesting thing about the 8 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups is that they're quite ephemeral energies, really. It's something that's been very difficult to articulate, although, one tries and all that kind of thing. It lends itself very well to imagery on cards, I think. But there feels like there's a way in which you're slightly denying yourself and you're ever so slightly denying your intuition because you're overthinking whether or not what's in front of you, what you feel to be in front of you, is actually there. And so when I was talking before about this idea of permission, a need for permission for something, which I feel like I did say, but I can't remember when I said it now. A little while ago, maybe about 20 minutes ago. It feels like what you're being asked to do is give yourself permission. Now, maybe some aspect of this is because you're kind of at the edge of your comfort zone, and you've been quite routinely moving out of your comfort zone for a while, Taurus, but there's something about this particular relationship here that's proving to be more problematic. Not that the relationship is problematic, but like the next step, which is kind of away from this relationship, is problematic, is it seems to be hitting you very, very deeply. And so it's bringing up all sorts of things. Ooh, that was my ankle. That have you kind of blurring the lines a little bit between what you know, what you have evidence for, what you feel, and what your intuition is saying. Plus, I think some unspoken, but nevertheless very noisy, feelings of what you should do versus what you want to do. And that's pretty icky. Like, that is always going to feel pretty icky, right? So when we move into August proper, we have the Empress, we have the Nine of Cups, and we have the Justice card. Now, the Empress at the top here, like I said, what we need is a fully functioning Emperor, really, for the birth of the Fool to take place. At the moment, he's compromised because you don't really know what to do about, X, Y, and Z. You don't really know how to take control of this situation as things stand at the moment. But the Empress is certainly upright, and the Empress is functioning exactly as she should. She's even depicted as pregnant, actually. And I love the energy of the Empress because there's something so natural and so powerful about her. I mean, there's no aspect of the Empress that really can be tamed. But there's an innate elegance, there's an innate flow with the Empress. And there's an incredible power. Now, I think with or without the energy of the Emperor being in the upright, facilitating this process here, I feel like it's kind of happening regardless. And to that end, I'm kind of really pleased that we've got this Nine of Cups showing up again. Because it's like, it's not been subjugated exactly, but there's a stronger energy that is coming up to the fore. And maybe it is maternal, but I don't know, it feels like it's more creative than anything else. And it feels like I'm not sure if this is the right thing, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing or inventing things or whatever, is being supplanted by this elemental force that is the Empress saying, we are gestating something and it is getting ready to be born. Now, like the memes you see where there's a dog driving a car with some sunglasses on and it says, get in, there's no time to explain. Like, it feels like the Empress energy is actually doing that to you. But she's not coming along in a car and saying, get in, loser, we're, no time to explain, we're going to do a thing. She's saying, you are a channel for my energy to work through you. And whatever doubts you have, I'm going to push them out of the way with my Venusian flow and show you how what you want and what you're hoping to aim towards is actually entirely in alignment with my Empress energy, and not just that, with what the universe wants from you as well. God, source, creator, right? However you want to put it. Because this feels like a turning point to me. I mean, all of this has felt like a turning point, but it's a turning point that you've been kind of hesitating over about this. Because you're second guessing yourself. Yeah. Look. Three of Swords and the fucking Magician here. I mean, we've got the Tower at the bottom of the deck. What I'm saying about a change of direction is very, very strong here, because a Tower is going to take your trajectory and it's going to kick it off 90 degrees over there, and it's going to, not that way, we're going this way. And it feels like you are oscillating. Oscillating, is that the word? Vacillating. Yeah. Oscillating between the Three of Swords and the Magician. It's like there seems to be some sort of feeling in you somewhere, Taurus, that there are no right answers here. Because if you choose one way and give everything that you have to that, there's going to be what you left behind to get that. And so it doesn't matter how good it is, it will still be painful. And then there's also the feeling of, but I will I'll eschew whatever it is that I feel in front of me. I'll decide that, in fact, it is all in my head, and this intuitive pull that I have to go in this direction is entirely incorrect, and I will choose to stay here with with this relationship, whatever it is, of any description, right? But fundamentally that would be a denial of a very strong Venusian energy, a very strong creative energy that is running through you right now. And so that too then will lead to pain. And without the information, that added bit of information, or even it's part of the problem here, that you're waiting for permission from the other person to go do your things. You're waiting for someone to say, Taurus, it's okay for you to go after this. It's fine. Whether Taurus, you are mum or dad or spouse or child or something else, a business partner, There's a lot here that seems to be hinging on permission, but I don't think that you've realised that it's yours to give. Or maybe if you have realised that it's yours to give, you've ended up being in this state where there's a quandary. And it's like, well, yeah, like whatever I give myself to, I'll do it great because that's what I do. But there's going to be the pain somewhere, because no answer is entirely right and no answer is entirely wrong, unless I get permission from somewhere else, and then I'm completely absolved of anything that flows thereafter, because it wasn't even my choice, it wasn't even my decision. But I think this is where the Tower comes in, because the Tower feels to me like a bit of a shove in one direction. And it's not to say that there is not, a bittersweet feeling to it. The possibility of a little bit of like, I kind of wish it had gone down differently. But nevertheless, it's showing you what you need to see in order to take this step, move this way, go this way, do this thing. What do we have underneath the Tower? Six of Pentacles. I mean, things right themselves very quickly after this Tower, but I feel like the Tower often comes along when we're oscillating around, right? When we're refusing to make a decision about something, the Tower comes in and it cleans house. That's what it does. And in the cleaning house, it takes us away from what we're kind of stuck on, because it completely fucking eradicates it, right? And it says, no, you're going this way now. And you're like, I want to go that way. It is like, shh, that way. This is the power of the Tower. This is what it does, right? And this Empress, this Magician, and this Justice card here, all speaking of an energy that aligns with what you truly want, whatever you want to dedicate yourself to, where that point of investment is for you. Your highest hope, goal, dream, aspiration. It's all saying, like, no, we're here. The universe is supporting everything. Why are you still fucking hanging around? Why are you doing this? And I think with the addition of the Tower, like whether you like it or not, you're going down this path, and you can do it willingly or you can do it sort of kicking and screaming. It's entirely up to you. But if the truth is that you've been waiting for permission, I think you've missed the point of the authority and the autonomy and the sovereignty that you carry. It's very interesting. I'm going to just look at this Three of Swords. Page of Pentacles, Nine of Cups again. I mean, the Nine of Cups is coming again and again and again and again. And the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck is saying, like, you really are thinking about this in a kind of ass-backwards way, which is essentially tantamount to self-sabotage. Like this here, if it's strong, it'll persevere, right? It'll change form for sure, but it will persevere. And if it requires you to prop it up constantly, then it probably was never as strong as you thought it was anyway, in which case maybe it's time for it to go. But the Nine of Cups showing up again and again and again is saying to me very, very clearly that something is going on in here, and it's waiting for you to light the touch paper. The Empress wills it to be so, the Magician wills it to be so, and to some extent it seems like the universe full stop wills it to be so. And so there's a question here of you kind of digging your hooves in about something, but maybe you don't quite understand why you're doing it, because it looks like it's one thing on the surface, and I think that it's something else underneath, which is very interesting indeed. But you couldn't get many more signals of will you please just start down this path? Will you go this way? Will you do this thing? Like, how long are you going to keep denying yourself? Which is very, very interesting indeed, Taurus. So I'm going to go to the extended now, because I want to kind of dig around in this a little bit more, particularly since I think, you know, what you think this is not what it is. So I want to kind of get into that a little bit. You're very welcome to join me if you would like to do so. You can do that on Selfie, you can do that on Circle. The links for both are in the description box below. If this is where we part ways, that's absolutely fine, no problem at all. But whatever new thing is in the offing for you, Taurus, whatever you feel your heart aligning to, it's accept that, surrender to that, give in to that, and allow this creative energy to start moving through you, because it's going to happen anyway. And do you want to be kicking or screaming, or do you want to be part of the creative force that is bringing this in, right? Because you will be eventually, one way or another, but it's like, how much trauma do you want to put yourself through first? And the Tower can be quite comprehensive on that front. So know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.